to part 5 of your very beginner belly dance series. Today, it's the big one. It's all about shimmies. So there's going to be a lot of uncontrollable and then maybe controlled jiggling. If you have a belt, please make sure you're wearing one. And let's get started. We're going to put the music on and we'll get right to it. We're going to start just popping side to side. Just nice little side to side. So we want to get warmed up and get our muscles trained for the action that we want, that we're going to ask them to do a lot of today. Side to side. So your hip is pulling up, pulling up. All right, we can put your arms out. Now we can speed this up. And at any point, you can put your arms down if that's easier for you. Even resting them on your head is helpful because when your arms are up, it lifts your rib cage and it gives you a bit more oomph, which is great for your back and your abdominal engagement. So out is good, up is okay, up is good, and down is fine too if you need a little break. Bend your knees, flat feet, abdominals in. So we're building up some stamina, getting some tone, increasing our temperature, and starting to get more comfortable with our jiggle and our wiggle. Because when you do these pops, hopefully you can feel whether you have a larger body or a very small body, there'll still be some jiggle and residual movement in your glutes and in your thighs from side to side because you're not gripping and holding tight and squeezing. So chances are something's going to be moving, and we want that. We want to feel it, and we want to learn to like it. Lift up tall. Now we're going to go even faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. So this upward pull is great. If you wanted to go side to side, it's a whole lot more work, but that's an option. And then over time, you can revise it so it's your oblique muscles contracting. So we want these coin belts on because it helps us hear and helps us keep our rhythm, keep on tempo, and know that we're doing it right. Because when we have a different sound, and the sound of our belt changes, that can be a cue we've changed our movement. Because your muscles are sneaky. They'll find a way to change what they're doing if it gets hard. And we want to notice and then correct it, make it get back to what we're asking. Okay, good. Give your legs a little shake out. Absolutely, it's a thigh day. Not because they're doing the movements, but because they're supporting you through movement. So they're definitely going to get tired. You're welcome. All right, we're now going to take that tick, 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 tick. We're going to speed it up even more. It's going to turn into a shimmy. So we bend, abs in, and now we're just going up and down so much that it's a faster, bigger movement. And we're going to keep going. Now, keep going. See the difference between this and this. Can you see it? Watch again. Take a look at my hips and my legs. And, okay, they're both shimmies, but we are doing the hip shimmy. When you bend your knees and you use your obliques to lift your hips up and down on this plane. The other one is a vibration shimmy where you're shaking your knees and that causes a vibration through your body. There are two different shimmies. We are going to do them both. I always like to start with the hip shimmy, because it's a little harder. So you can do it more easily at the beginning of the session because your muscles aren't quite as tired. It's easy to revert to this vibration shimmy when your muscles get tired, and sometimes you don't even notice. So we definitely want to be aware of the, oh yeah, drop hips. It's got to be your obliques moving. If you take your hands and you dig them into your sides, you'll feel these muscles working. When you do a vibration shimmy, they can be working, but they can also just be like, bleh, not doing anything, and the shimmy will still happen. Here, the shimmy won't really work if they're not doing their job. So bend those knees, hips up and down, find an arm position that works for you. And here we are. It's just about building stamina, building endurance, not just with your cardio, but also with your muscle behavior. And when they quit and you notice, start again. It's just constant correction. Okay, we're going to do that hip shimmy. And we're gonna walk. Okay, so this is not pretty. Don't try to be pretty. Just try to shimmy. Nice and slow. We are going 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, keep going, or take a break if you need to, but I want to show you some things. Common start to learning shimmies is to go, because you can shimmy on both legs, but as soon as you try to weight transfer, your body goes, no thank you. So we have to go very slowly so we can teach our body to shimmy as we move our leg. That's why we're doing this like slow motion, I'm on the moon walk, right? Because that's what's gonna help get these muscles learning to work when we're only on one leg. Okay, keep going. Common things that you will find. Maybe you notice them in yourself if you have a mirror, or maybe not. Is your hands are gonna go, your head might go, for sure your fingers might go. Your whole body tries to get in on this fun, and that's okay, but eventually we want to clean it up so it's only your hips, okay? Just keep it nice and steady, and then you can make it faster and slower as you like. Personally, I think it's so much more effective when you're starting, or if you're experienced and you're just doing a drill session, that you go slowly. That's the most challenging for your body, which means you'll get the best workout. It will help you learn. It'll help settle in your patterns. It will make you a better dancer. Moving faster might be more fun, and there's a time for that. But that deep learning, always go slower. Here we go. You can just keep going at your own tempo. This is where we don't really get too caught up in counting and trying to have a set pattern. Like I only did 3 steps forward there. Okay, it doesn't matter because I'm practicing this whole slow motion, keep it going, slow motion. So we don't want to add one more thing that we need to think about. So just walk around. Let's see what you can do. All right, just work at it, nice and slow. Okay, finish this song out. And then next up, we're going to work on that vibration shimmy. So the vibration shimmy we already talked about is when your knees are moving, right? They go back and forth and your legs shake. And because your legs shake, the coin belt shakes and your glutes vibrate and your stomach will go and maybe even your chest will go. And when you get a really big vibration shimmy, your cheeks end up going and the whole body gets moving, okay? Other things to think about, if you look at my feet, okay? Vibration shimmy here, my feet are flat, but you can have it so your heels are touching and they're going up and down, okay? This little extra movement. And it just really ramps it up. Because if you watch my whole body, if I do it from my knees, I'm getting my legs going. Okay, good shimmy, no problem. But if I get my heels going, You can hear it in my voice. It just ups the level because it's bigger and there's a little bit more power to it. Okay, and later on in your dance life, in the future, should you continue with this, at one point we get to learn how to travel these guys. And that's all on your toes. So we want to get that footwork semi-comfortable. So let's just do it. That's it. Shake your knees. When you do a really moderate, relaxed vibration shimmy, it's no big deal. Gives you time to work on lifting in your posture, opening in your chest, right? Having an arm position, settling down, whatever you want to do. And it's just, again, building endurance. Just building up that muscle, fast twitch movement. And then when you want to get a little more serious and you get into it more, everything gets more intense. So how much effort you put into your vibration shimmy is totally dependent on your body, how you're feeling, right, and what you want. So take them small, take them big. But know that they are very different from a hip shimmy, right? And now that you've done the hip shimmies and then you do this one, go back to a hip shimmy for a minute. It's like totally different. A hip shimmy is essentially just side to side pops in a really fast way. Totally a different movement. Okay, the vibration shimmy comes from your legs, from the floor. The hip shimmy comes from your core, from your waist, right? Different origination of the movement, right? Totally different. All right, vibration. So one thing we can do with vibration shimmies is we can slide. So we did this slide, I think we introduced this in session 3 when we were warming up for our circles and waves. So it's the same movement. Keep on going. Get that jiggle happening. Good. Okay. All right. Chest shimmy or shoulder shimmy. Our movements. Your shoulders, like the front points of your shoulders, are going back, 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 back. And the reason I like to think back and back instead of forward and forward, do you see the difference? Okay, if I take this shoulder and if I go back, back, my posture is a certain way. Back, back. If I go forward, forward, immediately there's this hunch to get forward and we want to stay upright. So think back. And we're just going to go back, back, back. And then we speed it up. So it's important to realize that this is a movement of the rib cage, right? It's your shoulders that are causing a movement. It's not about just shaking your boobs everywhere, okay? And that is 100% how we approach the movement at Sparkle Dance, okay? We tend to be a little bit more modest in what we're doing, so it's just not about that. 100% unavoidable that this is a major movement, and that's part of belly dancing, right? The costumes accentuate, it's another part of your body that has movement to it, and it's beautiful. So, if you think about the rib cage moving, you tend to get a better quality movement. That's where I'm going with this, right? If you're just busy thinking about like shaking your boobs, it tends to have that forward, like it just gets spazzy. So keep it pulled back and think rib cage. So we want to use these belts as a metric because if I do my shoulder shimmy and I hear my hips, well then I know they're moving and they should be absolutely still. When we're isolating a shoulder shimmy, we don't want too much movement down below. We want to isolate, lift up and away. So we're trying to get this to happen without this participating. That's another reason these are so helpful. They help you hear what you are moving and then they help you hear what you want to be kept still. It can be really helpful too if you have an extra one, or if you want to take this one off, wrap it up around your chest, because then it helps you hear the movement. And again, not to direct it to make it about that particular motion, but that is the motion, so it's going to help you hear it. Although we're still focused more on shoulders being the major movement point. Nice and small. Now keep going. One thing to notice is if you feel that up the back of your neck, down into your upper back, you're getting really tight and grippy, that's not an uncommon response to shimmy work. Because we have these muscles that go, for simplicity's sake, from the base of your spine all the way up to the base of your skull, your dorsal erectors, okay? They run all the way up your spine on each side. And when you're really gripping in different parts, sometimes they can get quite tight. And that's normal. We will stretch at the end, so we'll calm them down. But if that's the case, sometimes just doing a little bit of a circle, go back to those horizontal hip circles, it'll just loosen up a little bit. Just give them time to relax and not be gripping, because fast twitch, fast fire movement isn't something that a lot of bodies are used to. And so when you just dive right into it, sometimes they get a little cranky. So that's what that is if you feel it. All right, we are going to work on adding shimmies to some moves. So we'll start with our horizontal hip circles. So we're gonna start this way and go to the left first. And that's our front half, back half, right? Front half, back half. Bend your knees, hip shimmy. Hip shimmy, up and down nice and tight. And now we're going to do our circles. We are not counting anything. We are going really slow. Front circle, back half of the circle. Front half of the circle, back half of the circle. Okay, let's go the other way. Front half, back half. Front half, back half. Okay, now let's do vertical circles. For simplicity's sake, as we do the scoop and in, well, of course, this movement is a up and down, up and down, up and down. It can be a little easier when you're starting if you just think scoop and then think pop, 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 drop, 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 pop, 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 drop, 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 drop. And then you get this action of movement, but you're still just focused on this one hip. And that can be a lot easier because then you only think about one side of your body moving. You're not trying to move both hips and this circle, which essentially you are, but it's a little trick just to help you get started. Pop, 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 drop, 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 drop. Makes it a little easier. Let's do it again. No timing involved. We're just trying the movements. Lift up tall through your ribs. Keep your knees bent, out, up, in, down. Good. Okay. All right. I am going to leave you for the last two songs. So you know your vibration shimmy, hip shimmy, walking hip shimmy, shoulder shimmy, and then hip shimmy over top of two different types of circles, and then your vibration shimmy sliding. Now the reason I'm leaving you alone is because this is the end of our session. And I so deeply believe that a little bit of personal thought with this will make such a big difference. There is Something really powerful about claiming your own movement, claiming your own dance, claiming your own body. And I don't want to get too into this and too weird about it because I know not everybody is, into like really love yourself. But you can definitely increase the connection to yourself if you just experience your own dancing. Now, the thought of free dancing for some people, it's terrifying. Like panic-inducing terrifying. And if that's the case, no problem. My guidance for you is that you pick one of the shimmies and you do it for the entire song. And then pick another one of the shimmies and do it for the entire song. It's only 2 songs. Okay? I just want you to shimmy and just work on how your body wants to move for 2 songs. All right, we've had 5 sessions together, and we're just gonna dabble in your own exercise, creativity, confidence, and movement expression. So I'll put the music back on. I'm gonna kill off the visual, and you just have 2 songs to yourself, and focus on those shimmies in whatever way you can. Turn it up a little louder if you like, and just see how it feels to dance with yourself. Not with me on a screen, right? We're taking away that external focus. We're going to get right into you. Thank you so much for joining me. I've had a blast doing this. I really hope that you enjoy this. Belly dancing is just such a beautiful, beautiful thing for me. And I'm thankful every day, right? I mean, as a mom of at this point now, 9.5-year-old, I get to be a professional dancer. And I've enjoyed a wonderful dance career, and I have so many years ahead of me. And it's happened regardless of my body. It's happened regardless of what's happening in my life around my physical presence. And that's a big deal for a dancer. And I love it for that reason. So enjoy, shimmy away, send me some comments, post below this. I'd love to know how it's going for you. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.
What's your story? What's your sign? It's like we're twin flames in a different life. Deep connection lights a spark. It's like you know me in the depths of my heart. We're dreamers. Don't care what other people say. We're living like this could be our final day. We're dreamers. Don't care what the others say. We're doing this in our way. We come alive in the nighttime. It's something about how we dance in the moonlight. That look in your eyes, it tells me that you want me and all my loving. We come alive in the nighttime. You and I, we come alive. We come alive. We come alive. What's your weakness? What's your type? Somehow I want